Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Wednesday, November 1st, live from Amsterdam. At least I am here on the video feed with Clemente and Bunny today. Long time since we've had Bunny on the show. Bunny, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I wish Nick was here. I miss him, but I'm feeling Clemente. It's good too.
You'll survive without Nick. Nick is, I think, at the conference today. Allegedly, is the security day at the conference. So real like action-packed stuff when you're talking security. I think Nick was surprised at how developer heavy the Solana Breakpoint conference is. It really is. I mean, I already talked about, I think I already talked about it on the show, how someone just didn't know who Frank or D-Gods was that's in town for this conference. I found that fascinating, but now upon reflection, it really makes sense, because at the end of the day, if it's just a heavy developer conference, they're all about the DeFi stuff, the infrastructure stuff. That's really what they're focused on. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to discuss Solana's scorching hot run from a price perspective. We're going to talk about crypto venture capital funding heating up, and we'll be joined by Reign of Titans to discuss their new game and latest tournament. Today's show is in partnership with them, so very, very exciting stuff. Bunny, how was your Halloween? You're the only dad on the stream right now. How was it?
So trick-or-treating was rough, right? We probably did we went by my mom's house. We walked around for like an hour, and then my son decided to take a break. I was giving out scrambled eggs to all the trick-or-treaters. So we took a break for like 45 minutes, and then it's about 8 o'clock now, right? So it's pitch black out. And my son's like, let's do some more trick-or-treating before we go home. So I'm like, fine. 70% of the doors we knocked, lights out, like they were sleeping, dude. And I was just like, just go and knock and see what happens, bro.
Well, you're teaching them to get after it. You
gotta get after it, dude. You're not. The worst that happens is they say no. Actually, the worst that happened was like somebody just stared at them and then walked back like into their house and didn't even acknowledge him. It's good.
What are you gonna do? So we had the Magic Eden boat party last night. So basically it started at 10. The line was down. Look, this is a party that nobody in Amsterdam wants to go to, except for some people that go to Breakpoint, but those people really want to go really, really bad, right? Like really bad. And so the line was crazy long. Easy was able to get first get him and Nick in right away, and then me and Ali, the videographer that we have in town, Just Jassim is his Twitter handle. He's a BoDoggo. He's doing a great job with filmmaking. Like when I pull up his footage, I'm like, oh, thank God, somebody that like knows how to shoot is actually helping us right now. It's literally the first time that we've ever really had this. And so anyway, Easy comes down, lets us in, so we get to cut the line, which is nice. We're there, see some really cool people, meet some really cool people. It was awesome. It was supposed to leave the dock at, I want to say 11:30 and not come back until like 1:30 a.m. So I was like, I don't want to go on the actual boat. Like I'll go to the party for a little bit, but leave before. Then when we were there, we're like hanging out with everybody. I was kind of like, okay, maybe we'll stay. But then Nick was like, do you want to leave? I feel like leaving is the move. And I was like, yeah, don't threaten me with a good time. And we took off. And then they never left the dock because it started pouring rain in Amsterdam, and everybody ended up leaving early. So we were early to leaving early, trendsetters, if you will. And I'm pretty satisfied with the decision. Thought it was pretty good.
It looked like a great time though. Jassim posted like a video of the DJ setup. Looked like a great music, good amount of people, open bar. Looked awesome.
It was awesome. There was a guy that Nick knew from the startup world from like 15 years ago that came up to him, and he was like, I know you from like Media Bistro, which is one of that's like on the greatest hits of things Nick will bring up from the startup world from 15 years ago. So I just loved it. Like Nick's eating it up, with the guy. And I was like making jokes. I was like, it's so cool. You guys worked on startups in the 80s, and Nick's like, shut up. But it was pretty funny stuff.
I feel like Nick's the type of guy who could go to like South Africa and run into somebody that like he knows from earlier in life. Like no matter where he goes, he finds at least one person that he's semi familiar with from like earlier life.
Yeah, the night that me, and him went out to dinner, he bumped into someone that's a partner at a major VC firm, and Nick was offended by the level of greeting that the guy gave him. He didn't feel that it was an appropriate level of greeting, so that was pretty fun. Nick always knows somebody from the startup world 15 years ago. It's always a fun time. Clemente put in here that we went to the Museum of Sex. Yes, we did, and we made a video there. Thought it was a really good location to shoot a quick video, so we went in, knocked it out. The editors will be working on all that stuff today, so it'll be fun to watch the content start to roll out. I've been pushing on the team to upload the footage right away. It's harder, as you can imagine. It's harder than you think to get everybody to upload it right away. All my stuff's been uploaded immediately, but I'm pressing on them. Bunny, when are we gonna Bunny, have you ever left the country?
No, I've never left. I've been to like every state, but I haven't left the USA, dude. It's pretty solid. I mean, just
when are you gonna open your mind by seeing any other country on the planet?
You know me, P. I'm a picky eater, bro. So I'm like afraid to go to some countries because like if they got like a Taco Bell there, then we could swing it. But
like if you went to Italy or France,
I could do those. No, I could. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You picked like two of the best food countries.
Oh, well, you wouldn't know, but allegedly two of the best food countries, right?
Well, America and then probably the others for sure.
We got a late night burger last night, and I just chose what I wanted on. It was like a build your own kind of place. I did not specify any sauce, but I should have known that when you're in the Netherlands, when you're in Amsterdam, they're good. Yeah, that's the picture right there, Clemente. Way to have it pulled up. They're going to slather it in mayonnaise, like no matter what. Did not ask for any mayonnaise, but they're going to hit you with a bunch of mayonnaise. That's the one challenge here is no matter what you order, you could order like a yogurt. You probably have to specify no mayonnaise on the yogurt. We got like a breakfast the other day. The guy was like, yeah, open. He was like, ham sandwich. That's very good. I was like, cool, let's do it. Ham was phenomenal, slathered in mayo, like just literally more mayo than you would know what to do with. It's a tough one. I mean, look, the opening scene of Pulp Fiction by Tarantino, John Travolta is literally talking about mayonnaise in Amsterdam and how they slather everything in mayonnaise and they use mayonnaise for the French fries. So there you go.
Real quick, how has the food been overall? I know this was
I've never had mayonnaise in my life.
You wouldn't want to come to Amsterdam then, amigo. No, the food is good. Look, I understand. Like people were saying, like, oh, the food in the Netherlands isn't that good. It's not like real Europe. The ingredient quality is better than the United States, period, just because they don't have access to bad ingredients here. The diversity of food options in general is obviously not as strong as New York, especially here in Zaandam, where we're staying, which is the suburb of a suburb of Amsterdam. It's 2 train stops away. So it's not like New York where I can get like literally any cuisine on this block, but any cuisine that you get does have better ingredients than the United States. So it is definitely good. There's a lot of tourist traps in Amsterdam. And it's funny, the last time I came to Amsterdam, I do remember it was a London, Amsterdam, Copenhagen trip. The only bad meal that we had on that trip was in Amsterdam because we accidentally went to a tourist trap. There's just a lot of tourist traps. So you can step on like a grenade over here or a landmine or whatever the expression would be and end up getting some subpar food because it's a tourist trap. I've been playing it safe at some of the places. I'm just because like I'm worried about just a mayo overload on a dish. So I've just been like, yo, give me the French toast. Like I haven't even gotten the Dutch pancakes yet, but I want to. People were recommending other food that's native to Amsterdam that I should get. I want to look into the mayonnaise proportions because I'm going to assume if it's a native dish in the Netherlands, there's some sort of mayonnaise integration. It's just tough. Like in Italy, there's no such thing as mayonnaise, right? You're not getting mayonnaise in Italy. It's not part of the cuisine. So, and I grew up, my mom's an Italian immigrant, so I only ate Italian food growing up. Mayonnaise and ketchup are like the 2 items that I just can't really process. And so, yeah, like it's tough for me to be in a country where they're like, yo, mayo's our thing. It's just a tough thing. The only thing worse would be if they were like ketchup's our thing, you know? But
do you know if they have that red 40 dye that they put on hot Cheetos here? I love that shit.
I'm going to assume that they don't have it, Bunny. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that in this European country, they're not huge on Red 40. Bunny, what would be like if you could leave the country? Where would you want to go?
I'm a big IPL guy. Maybe India. I like used to gamble pretty heavy on the Indian Premier League, so maybe like go catch a cricket game.
No disrespect to India, and I've never been there, but from what I hear, I feel like that would not be a rookie level place to go if you've never like to just. I feel like you're jumping into the deep end of international travel if you just go to India. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Bombay real quick.
What the hell would I mean? In India?
Well, I love Indian food, so I do want to go to India, and I've had Indian food in the UK and in Thailand, and both spots are way better than the United States for Indian food. The UK Indian food goes crazy, and Thailand Indian food was really, really good too. A friend of mine his parents are from India, and he lived in India for 3 years when he was growing up, so I hear some of the stuff from him. He gives me what I'd call like a real take, and he's like, yeah, dude, it's it can get hot over there. It can get pretty humid over there when you're traveling. But obviously I'm sure the food is phenomenal. Interesting take that you said India as your first place.
Well, where I grew up, the town that I live in, it's actually the most densely populated city in all of America. With
Edison, New Jersey.
Edison, New Jersey, and then Islin, like the neighboring town, is second in terms. So like I don't know, I just grew up with it, so I feel like I've been interested.
Well, when we go, we're going to make a video where we go to your house at some point, Bunny. We'll drive out there to deep Jersey, which is not that deep, but we'll have to eat at an Indian restaurant then. I didn't realize you were so close to Edison.
Oh, yeah, dude. Edison, that's Oak Tree Road, man. That's like little India.
Tristan here on the YouTube stream brought up the fact that Bunny is skinny is impressive because he pictured you eating McDonald's and Taco Bell every day. Any comment on that, Bunny?
The metabolism's starting to slow down, dude. It's like that's how I've been my whole life. Like I don't know, it's better than working out. So
well, there you go. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to dive in. We'd like to take a moment to thank the partner of today's show, Reign of Titans. Reign of Titans is a brand new card-based strategy game where players battle against one another in hopes that their unique Titan character combined with their chosen scrolls and weapons will make them victorious. The game, of course, uses Web3 technology to let players fully own their strategies and enter their Titans into tournaments to battle for cash prizes. To explore the world of Reign of Titans and start battling, visit reignoftitans.gg now. That's reignoftitans.gg. Clemente has it pulled up on the YouTube stream. I'm sure he has it pinned on the Twitter show as well. They're partnering with us for our BoDoggos in real life event tonight in Amsterdam, where you'll actually be able to play the game live. It'll be available to play live if you are coming to this BoDoggos event tonight in Zandam. You'll be able to play the game. Super cool stuff. Bunny, you partnered with Reign of Titans before, correct?
Yeah, big fan of theirs. I thought the party was Thursday.
It's tonight, baby.
Oh. Okay. What are you wearing?
It's been tonight the whole time.
What are you going to wear?
Normal clothes. I'm going to wear, so check it out. So we're selling the first official BoDoggos merch drop, which I've been like tweeting pictures of. You guys saw the hat that we made in that Billy Mays style video where Nick's got the headset on and like the polo shirt. So you saw that merch. That's the Breakpoint official shirt and hat, the first official BoDoggos merch drop. I've actually been selling them like, door to door. Like people are coming up to me at events, not our event. I've just had it in a backpack and they're like, yo, I want to buy the merch. It's crazy how easy it is to sell stuff with the iPhone. You can just tap your credit card against the iPhone for payment. You don't need any attachment anymore. It just has the tap to pay built in, or obviously you can just do the Phantom, just like show a QR code and it's super easy. So we've been selling these and we're going to sell them at the event tonight, but I'm going to wear the next shirt, like the next BoDoggos shirt, the drop number 2 shirt, which we've never posted any pictures of, and just see if like people notice. Like, I don't know if people are going to notice it. I think they probably will. We'll see if anybody leaks photos onto the internet, but I'm going to be wearing that next merch. Looks like we lost Bunny saying his computer's overheating. I'm literally not surprised. This is very on brand. This is the first time in a long time that Bunny has been on camera. I think his second time ever. And the least surprising thing ever is that his computer is not functioning during the show. Anyway, we got the weather report. Clemente, do you want to do the weather report since Signal's not here, Kix is not here, Nick's not here? Do you want to be the guy that reads it?
I would absolutely love to. The only thing is I'm not going to be able to share my screen at the same time. It's going to be difficult. But ladies and gentlemen, today's Wednesday, November 1st, market volume for NFTs in the last 24 hours. We're coming in at $11.8 million. We have Blur at 8.3 and OpenSea at 2.5, just getting demolished out there. Looking at the market leaders, everything's on.
Clemente, wake up, Clemente. Let's go.
Looking at the market leaders, they're basically holding steady. Not a lot of movement there, other than Bored Apes up to 31.3 ETH, continuing to rally. Azuki up 2%, and Captain's down 3% a little bit, continuing to bleed after that 6 ETH milestone they hit on Monday. Other movers include Potatoes up 6%. Creeps and Mochaverse are both down 10%, and On-Chain Monkeys are up 25%. Maybe it has something to do with that Ordinals frenzy that went on after the Elon Musk and Joe Rogan podcast yesterday. Speaking of that, Elon Musk stated that NFTs are not even on the blockchain. It's just a URL to the JPEG during the Joe Rogan and Elon Musk podcast. This sent the Ordinals community into a frenzy as their images are inscribed onto individual Satoshis, as they like to say. Moving on to Solana, it's continuing its monster run into November as it soars past $39, and it completely recovered past to its pre-FTX levels. Solana is up 70% in the last 30 days, and it's up almost 400% in 2023. I am getting very bad FOMO on Solana as I'm sitting pretty with my Ethereum bags. Looking over at merch, we had Azuki drop a Satoshi Nakamoto high-end sweatshirt to all Azuki holders, and that was claimable. Sorry, Azuki, Spirit Azuki holders, so only 100 or so of them, and they were claimable via their collector's website. We also had Sappy Seals drop a limited edition distressed tee, as they call it, and it's available for $60 and has free shipping worldwide, and that's open for 24 hours. And lastly, on the VC side, we had the Saudi Arabians. Their NEOM fund announced a $50 million investment into Animoca Brands via a strategic partnership to drive global Web3 applications aligned with the Saudis' 2030 innovation plans. And we also had A16Z. You know them, you love them. They announced that they're planning on raising a $3.4 billion fund called Axios, which could close as early as 2024 Q1. That's it for the weather report. Over to you, Pio.
You got it together a little bit there at the end, Clemente. There was, you can definitely practice that verse a little bit more, but it's obviously great to have you doing the weather report. Some updates from the Daily Digest, which is posted to X every morning and pinned up top. It's also emailed to anyone that subscribes at thenifty.com. Captains, as Clemente pointed out, are the large cap winner of October. The collection saw a 70% gain in October. But wait, is that better than the Gutter Cat Gang?
It is. I wanted to wait for everyone to be here to cover it, but Signal beat you out
by a narrow margin.
No way.
Yeah, Signal won. She won. The Gutter Cat Gang has just been falling ever since it peaked at 1.5. It's down to below 0.5 now.
Oh man. Okay, got it. Moonbirds dropped Deadities, an NFT linked to all mythics created by a burned oddity prior to November 1st, not separately tradable. This one's a fun one. Gary Gensler tweeted about the Bitcoin white paper anniversary and Halloween, causing mass confusion amidst the ongoing Bitcoin ETF decision. You know who nailed exactly what that was is Daniel Got Hits, DGH. If you guys are familiar with this guy, some people don't like this guy. He's a pal of ours, a friend of the show, definitely a nice person. He put a tweet out there that was basically like, this is Gensler walking back everything that he's done over the past X number of months, publicly when he talked about the Bitcoin ETF and everything, to sort of save face, because now it's 100% inevitable and imminent that the Bitcoin ETF, the ETFs, are going to be approved. So that was a pretty wild tweet to see. But at the same time, it's like in this industry, in this market, in this space, you never know what you're going to get. Last update from the Nifty Daily Digest is Deadfellas Infected Season 3 goes live, featuring collaborations with 19 artists. So a little news out of the Deadfellas camp. Clemente, you and Bunny should chat a little bit about the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk and the commentary on NFTs quickly while I turn the air conditioning on in this hotel room because it is unbearably hot. I'm now realizing as I'm belting out words and my body temperature is going up. If you guys could take over for 1 minute, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no problem. So I covered it a little bit during the weather report, but Bunny, were you able to listen to the Joe Rogan and Elon Musk podcast?
I just saw the clips that everybody was reposting. It looks like, so was he like saying that Beeple's controversial? Because like my Twitter timeline's filled with like murder and porn, right? So it's like, it's weird that that's where he draws the line for like controversy. He's like, whoa, that Madonna piece that he did, dude, that crossed the line.
Yeah, he said he unfollowed Beeple on Twitter.
Who even talks about it? Dude, he's the richest man in the world. And the first thing he brings up is unfollowing somebody on his own fucking platform.
Well, the thing that surprised me was, yeah, they did talk a lot about Beeple, but I was also surprised by just the amount that they even talked about in terms of NFTs. Like just even bringing it up and like discussing it. That was super surprising to me when I was listening to the podcast. And then obviously the piece where Elon Musk was talking about the basically NFTs are not actually like on the blockchain and it's just a URL. That sent the Ordinals community. They were just eating that up.
Yeah, I was going to say Theo probably loved that.
Well, I'm just not. Well, first of all, I'm not surprised. I was not surprised at all at the discussion of NFTs because NFTs are and always have been incredibly revolutionary technology built on. Literally, I ask Jack Dorsey what he thinks of, you can call it blockchain technology. He specifically says Bitcoin, right? And so ask Jack Dorsey how revolutionary the technology is. He'll give you an earful. The reality is it's always been this revolutionary tech. It's always been like the biggest thing ever. People just only look at the price. And when the price goes up, a bunch of people FOMO in and want to get involved. And when the price goes down, people literally like, yeah, that thing's dead. It's never coming back. Someone literally said to me the other day, oh, is Bitcoin like still a thing? And in my head, I'm like, I'm so lucky that I'm not this person. Like, I'm literally just lucky that this person's living under a rock right now. Like, while there's a financial revolution, a flight to quality, if you ask Larry Fink what it is, if you ask the CEO of the largest asset manager in the world, what he thinks it is, he'll tell you it's a flight to quality. So anyway, NFTs are a huge, huge deal. The majority of people that have ever owned an NFT only care about the price and don't care about the huge, huge deal that NFTs actually are. And a guy like Elon Musk does not care about the price of an individual NFT collection. He cares about the bigger picture. He cares about the underlying technology, the significance of it. And that's what he was talking about. He wasn't saying, yeah, the price of a Bored Ape used to be $480K and now it's $80K and that's bad. He doesn't care about that. It's not a factor. It doesn't matter. The Ordinals people going crazy is funny. Ordinals has a long way to go. Ordinals needs to have a lot more folks interested in Ordinals. Ordinals needs to get people that are already interested in Bitcoin more interested in Ordinals. Whether or not they actually buy Ordinals, they just need to understand and accept that there's a permanent change to Bitcoin now, which is ordinals, and they just haven't even accepted that. Doesn't mean they need to go buy a bunch of artwork. These are people that probably don't own any artwork in real life. So why are you going to go buy it, digitally? But they need to understand and accept the significance and the relevance of ordinals as a protocol built on Bitcoin that's going to be here forever, right? So that's my take on that. I don't know what else you guys were talking about.
Did you see, speaking of that, Pia, did you see the, this was earlier this week, Mark Cuban's video on NFTs? This one I thought was actually a little bit more interesting.
I didn't see it. He's a funny guy.
Can I play it for you real quick?
Sure, play it. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mark Cuban, a video he dropped. Okay, NFT Stats pointed out that there was some language that was he used the wrong terms when referring to these graphics. But anyway, let's go.
Basically, it sucks. You know how many other industries have sucked? There was a time after the internet stock market crashed where Amazon was selling for $5 a share. Microsoft was selling for...
He sold his first business for $1 billion right before that crash. So he knows a thing or two about exiting before the big crash. Go ahead.
100th of what they sell right now. You ever been in the trading card industry? That Mickey Mantle card, that Steph Curry card, goes up, goes down, go up, go down. The same thing is happening to NFTs. Now, there are some people that would tell you that this is the best time if you're an NFT collector to buy an NFT. I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do other than to say with NFTs, the best time to buy is when you're a collector and you love the NFT. Don't buy to speculate. I'm going to say it to you for the people in the back.
Good luck. Good luck with that message.
Speculate.
Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah, I'm sure everyone's going to listen to you.
You know what happens to speculators? They get their ass handed to them. I can stare at my mutant punk all day long because I collected it. I'm not paying attention to all the things that happen on a day-to-day basis, and you shouldn't either. Because someday we're going to turn around, and you know what you're going to say to yourself? You're going to say to yourself, I should have bought those damn NFTs when they were next to nothing.
It's true. You should buy the probably a mutant ape or a bored ape, CryptoPunk, Fidenza, Ringer, Squiggle, things like that. No, I'm serious. Those are the things that I would think that you would buy. What are you guys laughing about?
A YouTube commenter said, "Shut up, Mark. Go get drained again."
Mark could get drained a million more times and still have a higher net worth than 99.9% of the people in the world. So not anything for him to worry about. The on-chain, off-chain thing is just going to develop over time, and quite frankly, is not a factor right now. Like, once there's a widely accepted solution for that, Bored Apes and CryptoPunks could all be migrated on-chain, and then bingo, bango, boom, it's all done. It's not a problem. You know what I mean? That's not an actual problem. I understand why Elon is talking about that for sure, because he's, again, thinking about the big picture. Mark Cuban saying that is very interesting. He was early on NFTs. I mean, he literally was. He's one of the, I remember he said the word non-fungible tokens in late 2020, early 2021 in an interview. And it was shortly after I found out what they were, after I listened to the Griffin and Duncan Cockfoster podcast with Anthony Pompliano, where they brought up this digital art movement called, NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And that was like a major validity thing. When I saw Mark Cuban mention, I was like, oh, maybe this is, and, obviously he was involved in Top Shot, at least to some capacity. He owns an NBA team. So I was like, oh, maybe there's something here. Then obviously you have the Beeple $69 million sale. You have Gary Vee coming in NFTs. A lot going on with all that stuff. A lot of signals there. Yeah, sorry. Clemente's kind of hosting this thing now. I'd love to hear where you want to go from here, Clemente. And actually, real quick, I want to remind everyone today's show is in partnership with Reign of Titans. Reign of Titans being the game that brings players into their world. It's a land where the Titans of Chaos and Order are fighting for control. It's a card-based strategy game where every Titan is a unique NFT that you customize to take into battle, letting you own your strategy and compete for cash prizes in tournaments. You can check it out at reignofTitans.gg or hop into the Discord to find out more. We have the links pinned on the Twitter show. We also have the links on the YouTube stream. But go ahead, Clemente, how's it going?
Here we go. So Pia, I'm having a little bit of a dilemma on my end. Might be FOMO, but it's related to Solana ripping to like $39. So I went to a little bit of a backstory. This past weekend, I may or may not have smoked a little bit of the devil's lettuce. On hold on. And I was sitting there watching some TV, and I like checked my phone, and I saw just crypto absolutely ripping. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the hell am I doing, dude? Like, so I went through my stock portfolio, and I traditionally, most of my net worth is actually in stocks, and it's pretty like safe stocks. Actually, mostly like Microsoft and like tech. I've held it for a pretty long time, and I was sitting there and I was comparing like the odds that Microsoft, for example, does a 2x in the next like 3-4 years, right? Versus something like Solana. And I'm very over allocated in like very safe stocks. Anyways, long story short, I sold off a percentage of my stock portfolio, the safe aspect of it, because I'm like, dude, I can afford to be higher risk. Long story short, I'm sitting there and I have to wait like 5 days for this money to transfer. And during that time, Solana rips another like 25%. So I'm sitting here. I was planning on allocating a large chunk of change towards Bitcoin and Solana. But now I'm sitting here and I'm wondering whether or not I should do it right now, what this allocation process should look like. And I was just wanting to get a little bit of advice from
What about Pepe?
Rollbit as well. I was looking at, but
Okay.
I would
So
just
now
go
we're
100% of it. Cash out of all your stocks. Just put it all into shit coins. Pick up like Smurf Cat, Mog, some people's Bitcoin. Dude, you'll be a billionaire in a year.
Well, look at that. Yeah. So if you want to literally take this train and drive it off of a cliff, then go and do that with the meme coins. And I'm sure that there's a percentage of our audience that's now going to be like, F you, PO, because they just adore meme coins so much. Let me ask you a question, Clemente. How do you think about buying a crypto asset? Like you mentioned earlier that you have a lot of Ethereum. What makes you buy any individual crypto asset? What are you paying attention to?
I like literally just price go up, but less volatility than like I don't. I'm okay
What
with
makes price go up?
More. I look at it as like more usage. The more it gets used, the more people interact with whatever the underlying technology is, and it's different. I look at it as different for Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Bitcoin to me is the easiest to be like, dude, I'm fine with just throwing some money at that, and that's gonna be fine. But I'm also like the upside of Bitcoin versus Solana seems a lot different. But then I also look at Solana at $250, and I don't know if it can get there again. I'm a little bit less bullish on Solana, I think, than you, Easy, and Nick. But that's just me. And for a little bit of context, I first bought Ethereum back in like late 2020. So I bought in I think my average purchase price for Ethereum is like $2,200 to $2,500. So I am not in the green on Ethereum, especially considering I put a large chunk of that towards NFTs. So that's the context I'll give you. And then I started buying Solana literally like in the last 2 months for BoDoggos. I just started buying some. I sold some Ethereum, bought into that, and then put some USDC into it as well. So that's the context. But I own 0 Bitcoin.
Okay. So interesting approach there, amigo. Owning 0 Bitcoin is hilarious, but I'm going to abbreviate all Bitcoin related commentary here because I think that people have heard me discuss Bitcoin to a degree that they maybe even are getting tired of hearing. And so I'll just say a quick abbreviated commentary, that starts with Bitcoin and then gets to the other assets that you talked about, the way that I think about it. And obviously, I do not know everything, but what I can confidently say is that I do understand Bitcoin. And the things that I hear people say, the things that I read people write, makes me think that 90+% of people that own NFTs and any crypto asset actually do not understand Bitcoin at all. And for example, when Solana and Bitcoin started to basically correct upward, like correct to the upside over the past month, people started being like, oh, good time to take profit. It's probably a local top. And when I see commentary like that, I'm like, so you just have no idea what's going on. We were just in a 12 to 18 month bear market that had a major top 3 global exchange collapse that had a blue chip reputation, combined with the Federal Reserve aggressively hiking interest rates for a year. After like a 10-year loose monetary and 10 plus year loose monetary environment, bull run up only season, up only decade, right? So all those things just happen. And you get this year-long plus pullback on Bitcoin and everything else. You also, on the Solana side, you get a sell-off on Solana that's more aggressive than any other asset because of its association with that top 3 exchange, FTX, and its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, that I just mentioned, as if it's basically a shitcoin, as if it's like bullshit. And it goes as low as $8 off of an all-time high of, I don't even remember what the all-time high. It's like 220, 240, 260, something like that, right? And nothing sells off harder than Solana out of like the major, crypto assets, right? Meanwhile, nothing fundamentally changed about Solana. Nothing changed about Bitcoin aside from the advent of ordinals this year. So you're getting positive changes, you're getting more interest, but the price doesn't change. And so people are like, I don't know what's happening here. The price isn't going up. I'm not interested. Then you see the Fed start to actually discuss the loosening of monetary policy over the past few months. Basically, the market for Bitcoin detected that weakness there, plus the possibility of money printing because of the war situation that we have going on. I don't want to get into detail on that, but there's some war action out there right now. And all of a sudden, Bitcoin just corrects to the upside. And what a surprise, Solana corrects to the upside harder. It pumps harder. Because people realize, oh, wait, Solana's a legit thing. And now it's distanced itself from FTX. It's distanced itself from Sam Bankman-Fried. Fire Dancer just had an announcement yesterday at Solana. Easy told me it's something about like settling 1,000 transactions per second or some like, or a million. I don't even remember the number. It's some ridiculous number of transactions that can now be settled per second on Solana. Solana signed the deal with the major credit card company as well to settle their transactions. There's a lot of positive stuff going on. If you have an NFT project on Solana, then you understand how dedicated and how like organically strong the community of people on Solana is. To me, it's a no-brainer. What I will say, and I'll close with this, is anything besides Bitcoin in this ecosystem has orders of magnitude more risk because you have the baseline digital gold commodity nobody can change, nobody can mess with in Bitcoin that the biggest asset management firm in the world, BlackRock, is now accumulating at size for their ETF that's about to get approved, and every single other bank is going to follow, and Michael Saylor is going to be the richest guy of all time. And anyway, you got all that on the Bitcoin side. Whenever you step into Ethereum, Solana, what you actually have is a higher short-term opportunity for price appreciation, right? Because it's more volatile, right? It goes higher, it goes lower, and there's way more fireworks in between. We saw some crazy fireworks with Solana in a bad way when FTX collapsed, for example. But you get a lot more risk, and you can't go to sleep at night parking all your money in those assets compared to Bitcoin. Having said that, a lot of people are looking at short-term time horizons, and Solana was just exhibit A. Solana's done more than a 2x in like 3 months, 4 months, just like that. Bitcoin hasn't 2x'd in that time frame. It's 2x'd over the past year, but it hasn't 2x in the past couple of months. So that's the way I think about all this stuff. If you want to sleep at night, just parking your money in something where you can plow money in, like you can plow it into Bitcoin and sleep at night. I can't plow money into the other assets in the same way. I do plow a bunch of money into the other assets, but it's not the same as Bitcoin, where I basically look at Bitcoin as a savings account, which I talked about on the show before. And people are like, what are you talking about? Ba, 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 ba. Where's that take now? 16K to 30K plus K Bitcoin feels like a good way to save my money at this point. But I knew where we were at in the cycle, right? Because the Bitcoin halving is 6 months away, and I talk about that all the time. That's probably the longest segment of me talking on this show in a long time. But please go ahead, Clemente.
That's helpful. And I like the way I'm looking at it. What clicked was when you like a week and a half ago literally said like focus on 2025, 2026 and just stacking
real quick, Clemente, someone said, what an abbreviation. Because I just like went wicked long.
Yeah, you did. That was helpful. Like, I basically just want to stack as much Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, but I'm just trying to figure out, I think, that the most optimal way, and I want to hold this for 2, 3, 4, 5 years is what I'm optimizing for. I'm trying to figure out the best way to allocate that portfolio and actually have like a strategy behind it versus like, I'm just going to buy a bunch here and like have a DCA strategy. So that's my thought process. Bunny, I'm curious for you how you allocate your crypto portfolio.
Dude,
I
don't even think about Bitcoin. Like,
Well, I know. We know.
Like, what are you gonna get? Maybe a 3x. Cool.
Money.
No
when you and me are both, when we're both in our 50s,
that fucking boomer coin, don't want a dime of it, dude. Not a dime, bro.
When we're both in our 50s, you and me are gonna crack a beer, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, you were really right about that Bitcoin."
Basically, a stock, dude. Like, I'll just go invest in the boring ass stock market if I'm gonna buy Bitcoin, dude. Like, I would literally rather buy a 20K low cap shitcoin than put $1 into Bitcoin.
Got it. Well, anyway, Bunny, when you and me are both 50 in 20 years, it'll be very interesting to see if your take changes, because you'll be like, damn, I could have had all this Bitcoin if I had just bought it and never sold it, and then I'd be rich as all hell right now. That's interesting. So I'll chat with you at that point about it. We'll see if you're like, yeah,
I'm thinking the same thing about you when it comes to the people's Bitcoin, right? So like, that thing's going to $1 billion, obviously, right? So it's only at 150 million. You just got the ROIs better on the shitcoin game.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's of course talking about the coin Harry Potter Obama Sonic Shiba Inu. If I'm correct,
Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10, the number 10 Inu. There's only one dog in it. It's just the Inu. There's no Shiba.
Okay. Well, anyway, I think the audience can make a decision on what is a safer bet between the two assets. Clemente, anything else on this that you wanted to discuss?
No, this is great. I think my takeaway is I'm going to slowly allocate some capital towards some of this crypto over time. I'm very hesitant. The trader in me is very hesitant to buy Solana at $39 right now, given the run it's had over the last month. Yeah, Bunny agrees.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch it.
But
wouldn't touch it, right? Because if it's $300 in a year, buying it at $39 is a huge mistake.
300.
Oh my god. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, if you buy something at $39 and then wait 12 months and it's literally hundreds of dollars more expensive, that's dumb. Just letting you know. Would you ever buy Solana, Bunny?
Yeah, I'm not against Solana. I think Solana has more upside than ETH, right? But I like 300. I don't know if it's like Clemente said. I don't think I'm that bullish on it. I would rather hold ETH.
Fair. I mean, look, obviously that's,
I don't know.
That's a perspective. I got a bunch of that too. And when DC Investor came on, right, he lays out the kind of his ETH thesis, which I think is a compelling one without question. What are you shaking your head at, Clemente?
I just saw some comments of me buying my dead. Like, I'm just thinking of how much ETH I've lost from NFTs. It's such bullshit. Like, I had such a good stack of ETH. Like in late early 2022, I had a good stack of it, man. And I was just sitting there, I was accumulating, and then I went sicko mode buying NFTs like there was no tomorrow. And if I just kept that in ETH and just sat there, I would be so chilling right now, but I'm having to deal with the consequences of my actions right now. But you live and you learn.
Well, it's about being in at the right part of the cycle, right? So like the smart money people were buying, literally the FTX debacle marks the bottom. So the smart money people were accumulating everything from the FTX bottom till now, right? If you buy a bunch of Bitcoin when it's $190,000 in 18 months, then that's probably not the number one time to be buying it, right? 18 months from now.
Who's the NFT guy named after a cloud? Cirrus, right? He was sweeping everything the day FTX collapsed. Mutants, D-Gods, he made a killing that week.
Sure, that's a short-term trade. But I mean, if you were accumulating NFTs during this period of time, right? And if the NFTs in theory wouldn't come back for like another, like really come back for like a minimum another 18 months. If you look at the kind of history, the one cycle history of NFTs, and if you do what Raoul Paul did when he came on the show and compare stocks to real estate in the same way as crypto to NFTs, the liquid asset versus the illiquid asset, it's going to take like another 18 months to 2 years for that crazy NFT volume to come back. So there's plenty of time. And yeah, I mean, just like people that bought crypto punks for $20 in 2018, 2019, and then waited for 2 years, that was a pretty good maneuver. The hard part is figuring out what to buy. That's why it's hard. That's why not everybody's rich, because it's so hard. It's hard for me.
I feel like all your investments are on like 100-year time horizon, where like if I hold something for longer than 10, 15 minutes, like I'm sweating, dude. Like I'm like, I got to get rid of this thing. It's burning a hole in my pocket. Like,
well, I think you represent a significant percentage of the space of the industry. Look, we had Dan Held on the Bitcoin show yesterday, and Dan Held had a comment that I loved. He was like, if you don't have conviction, you're going to liquidate at the bottom. You're going to sell at the worst time. And everybody knows that, right? That's not like, no one's going to be like, whoa, what a comment from Dan Held. But what he said was, and if you don't have conviction, you're also going to sell as soon as you get like a 2X or a 3X, because you're like, wow, my fiat gains are crazy. I just made, 2,000 fiat dollars. That's crazy, right? But the reality is the people that get rewarded are the people that hold. Right? You bought Bitcoin at $100. You're probably feeling pretty good right now. And you don't really care that we're off a bunch of the $69,000 all-time high. Just saying. Clemente, you linked DC Investor talking about taking profits and buying ETH. I would not be surprised if he sold some high-value art NFTs, but I don't know. I don't know if he's talking about just selling stocks. He ain't selling ETH to buy ETH. So my assumption is he might have liquidated some really high value art NFTs. I don't know though.
Yeah, I think he mentioned holding some Solana during our interview with him. Yeah, I was very curious to see what his process is, because I remember when we were like just in the absolute trenches in early 2023 and late last year, he was like, I'm buying a certain amount of ETH every single week. Like the conviction that he's had. So
10K a week, I believe.
So I was surprised to see that tweet from him to start selling at this time, but I'm sure he has something longer term in mind. And he's very ETH, like he's very bullish on ETH and will buy that at any cost. And it has been lagging in the last 30 days or so while everything else has been pumping. So he possibly sees a maybe higher upside on that.
Last thing, gonna piss a whole lot of people off. People are going to be so mad. Here we go. Last thing. If you really think about this realistically for a minute, who is going to ultimately have a higher net worth in like 6 years or like 8 years? Somebody that just steadily accumulates the highest value assets like Bitcoin. You can say ETH, you can say Solana, whatever people have the highest conviction in, that's not a literal meme coin, type of thing, right? That person that just is like, damn, I got to get more and not sell it. I got to get more and not sell it, right? In 6 to 8 years, who's going to have a higher net worth? That person or the person that's literally the high activity gambler that's gambling on short-term price left and right? Who's actually going to have the higher net worth in 6 years? When you really think about it, if you're going to really be realistic, who is it? The guy that buys the laundromat and has the steady laundromat business for 8 years, or the gambler at the casino? Which one?
If you're buying $10,000 of ETH weekly, you probably are already pretty set in life, right? Like, I don't think that's like the average participant here has that kind of bag.
I agree. $10,000 per week is a lot of money for sure. But do you know what I'm talking? Like, can you understand what I'm talking about? Because there's a lot of people that I see talking about short-term trading, and then they'll make other comments, and I'm like, is this person like, can this person not pay rent? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people act like they have a lot of money all the time, right? But then there's other comments where I'm just like, wait a minute. Oh, this person might not, like an accountant that's 2 years into his career might be in a significantly stronger financial position than this person. Clemente, what are you thinking about?
Yeah, I agree with you, Pio, but I'm also thinking of like how many people made money buying Pepe early and were sitting there and made a 100x or a 50x during that meme coin saga. The people that were the hyper traders versus the longer time horizon people sat on the sidelines because they're like, dude, that thing's gonna go to zero in I think it's gonna be zero in a month. While these short term traders were buying Turbo, were buying Pepe, were buying all those.
I think you can bring up Pepe. It's like, dude, you can bring up Turbo. Like, how many people really made like insane money off of Turbo? The Pepe money was insane. Don't get it twisted. The Pepe money was crazy. You kind of get that like once a year in this space. You got Bored Ape Yacht Club. That was similar. You had to wait for that, though. You had to wait for Bored Ape Yacht Club. Pepe's ridiculous because it was like 2 weeks. That's like a really wild one where literally it was a better trade than Bored Ape Yacht Club was. And instead of having to wait over a year, right? Bored Ape Yacht Club from mint to like the ape coin dropper, right around a year, right? Right around a year. That's a year. Pepe, you got the same thing fungibly, like with a fungible token, not even a non-fungible illiquid, quasi-illiquid token in 2 weeks. So yeah, there's like occasional exceptions. Go get another Pepe. Go do it. Let me see it. I want to see everybody. Let's go. I'll go and get another Pepe. I can't wait. I don't know.
But it is
like you're saying.
So Pepe went to 1.5 billion, right? Which is like, that's really hard to do in this market. But I mean, you still have coins going to 20 million, like going from what, 50K to 20 million on the regular.
Are you crushing it with those, Bunny?
Oh, dude. It only takes one. It only takes one, PO.
Let's go to Vegas and let's see who makes $300,000 on like a $100 bet. And let's see how many people are out there. Let's see it. I'm also just infuriating a percentage of the audience right now. I can tell they're just fired up. They're like, I'm going to gamble on shitcoins nonstop and you're not going to tell me otherwise. But anyway, so we talked about the way Clemente is thinking about, crypto allocations. Last thing that we have on the docket before we speak with our partners, Reign of Titans, very excited to hear about the game, excited to play the game in person at our event. If I have a free minute, I'm sure I'm going to be doing a bunch of stuff there. Could the tides be turning for VC funding? Well, I think based on that A16Z announcement, it's pretty safe to say that they absolutely are. I mean, the VC stuff is funny, man. It's a lot like high school. It really is a lot like high school. Where when you're cool, like, yeah, you did that, you scored the touchdown in the big game. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to hang out with you. Everybody's into it, and then the second you're not cool anymore, most people turn their back on you. That's kind of the relationship between VCs and crypto is like when we raised money, for example, late 2021, it was literally the all-time high of Bitcoin and Ethereum. The crypto markets, all-time high. And thus, it was just wicked easy. It was just so much easier to raise money than it is now. And then during this bear market at the time of FTX last year, let me know what it was like pitching VCs. I'd love to know because it was not easy. I talked to my buddy Trevor Owens, who's very deep in that world, and he was like, I'd say it's 10 to 100x harder right now to raise money than when it was. But now it's starting to come back because everybody is detecting the softness of the Fed. I mean, there's different ways to look at it, but everybody is detecting the potential strength of the market over the next 12 to 24 months. So you're starting to see smart money roll in. The top will be when somebody's grandma is asking you about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Clemente, go ahead.
Yeah, so the reason why I was thinking about this, Pio, is I saw Jason from the All In podcast, who you can say what you want about him, but I thought it was interesting to hear his perspective on basically, he thought the funding levels from VCs right now were in 2009 to 2014 levels, right?
Okay.
And if we assume, which
now?
is very low. Yeah, he's like, it's very low right now. Like founders are basically just scrapping their way through this. You're seeing a lot of 2 to 3 team companies have to like scrap their way through this right now because of the conditions that they're operating in. So I'm thinking about it from, if VC funding remains low, which I don't really know what that means, but I'm like, is there a world where let's say interest rates stay where they are and crypto for some reason continues to boom, will we see VC funding continue to just like pull, like we saw the funding that went on for AI, right, in the last 12 months, and now just everyone is throwing money at AI. If we see another bull run like this in the next 12 months, will the same thing happen with VCs again?
Yeah, when the price goes up, absolutely. Also, you talked about 2009 to 2014. That's the half decade after the biggest financial crisis in like almost 100 years, right? So that was, it makes sense that they'd be a little bit more shy with their capital. Also, a lot of the startups, I feel like during that time, it was, I mean, that's like not that long after Facebook came out. That's, if Nick was here, Nick would be able to give us an earful and boots on the ground perspective. In 2009, I was 19, so I wasn't exactly deep in the VC world, right? But I think Nick would tell you that a lot of those tech companies weren't making, well, they definitely weren't making profits yet. I mean, if you watch the show Silicon Valley, there's a lot of jokes about that. And one comment I actually want to make too is I'm exposed to PEPE. So I own PEPE right now. I just checked. I have a whopping $857 worth of PEPE. Bunny, am I going to be rich? What's going on?
I think you're good, dude. I mean, you should probably switch a little Bitcoin over, but
the only thing I'm curious about on PEPE is like, so is the thesis basically that if everything starts pumping in and normies start buying crypto, why would they not just buy Doge? I don't understand why they're going to look at PEPE and be like, hey, I'd rather buy that. Is it because it has a higher upside?
They are going to buy Doge.
Doge is old though. I think in a bull run it'll be like the shiny new things, right? That would be my guess.
So I have just like a few $1,000s worth of Doge because I do think that there will be some normie attention on it. I think that PEPE needs to get listed on the major exchanges. And then I think when it does, it's a big deal.
In terms of mimetic value, right? Like Pepe is definitely stronger than Doge.
Clemente using my favorite word. Funny using my favorite word.
It has a $472 million fully diluted market cap. It has pumped a crazy amount since that burn. But I might throw some money at it because if you're basically okay with sitting on this for the next 6 months, you're like, hey, Coinbase is eventually going to list this thing. What would happen when it's like the Bitcoin ETF, Pia? This is the Bitcoin ETF for PEPE. Is if it gets listed on Coinbase.
That's a great analogy, dude.
Yeah,
that's such a good analogy.
I don't co-sign that analogy. Actually, I do. It's actually true. It's like literally true. It's a good way of thinking about it. Well, we'll see. I know somebody that like bought a bunch of PEPE, and I was like, really? That's like what you're buying? And then it went down, and I'm like, oh. Because like I know that person isn't like, like that's money that would have been better not, degened into PEPE. I'm just saying. So anyway, we'll have to see how this all plays out. VC funding coming back is without question good for the space. It takes time for this stuff to develop. The A16Z news is really cool. Wish Nick was on the show to talk about this because he would have fantastic perspective. But we will catch up with him on it either later this week or in a couple weeks. He's going to be on vacation next week. Fun fact, ladies and gentlemen. So we won't have Nick on the show, I think, any day. But who we do have on the show today is today's partner, Reign of Titans. We have Adi. Adi, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. Doing well here in Amsterdam at Solana Breakpoint. So feeling pretty good.
Absolutely. We're here too. Looking forward to meeting you at the event later on. To give an introduction, obviously, we've discussed a little bit throughout the show, mentioned Reign of Titans, the game, talked about that people are going to be able to play it at our event in Amsterdam this evening if they're here for Solana Breakpoint. But for people that are unfamiliar, could we get like a 60-second rundown about Reign of Titans, what the game's about and, why people should get excited about it?
Yeah, for sure. Let me try and keep it to 60 seconds. So it's a new card battle game. It falls very much into the strategy category. So you can think of it very much like a Hearthstone or even like a Pokemon when you think about the style of Reign of Titans. But the idea of the game is for people to be crafting strategies, building unique Titan characters, and then taking these Titan characters into an arena to battle against other players. Because we have Reign of Titans as a card-based game, the objective is to reduce your opponent's HP to 0 by building out a strong deck that you can play with during the game. Every Titan that we do have in the game today is an NFT that's on the Solana blockchain that players either own or they rent out when it comes to the game. So Bunny, based on the conversation that we've had here, we're definitely in the Sol camp if we're picking sides. But the benefit, of course, with all the Titans being NFTs themselves is the focus that we do have on ownership when it comes to the game. So players will actually get to own their particular strategies that come along with the deck that they build that are attached to the Titans. Every Titan that we have in the game has its own DNA, and you can customize this by assigning different characteristics, teaching new scrolls, learning new weapons when it comes to the actual game. We're very big on lore when it comes to Reign of Titans. So the game itself is set in a world of Irio that we have created, where we have Titans of Order and we have Titans of Chaos, and they're both fighting to gain control of this world. When you actually join the game, you have to choose your faction. So you're either going to be a Titan of Order or a Titan of Chaos. Little fun fact, I'm actually a Titan of Chaos, so firmly in that camp. But as you go through, you're going to be earning points for your particular faction. We have 8 elements that go through the game. So each Titan actually comes from one of these 8 elements, which is through the lore that we have through the game, and they represent different lands in the world of Irio. You asked why people should get excited about this game, and it's really because we're so focused on trying to bring back value when it comes to the players. And you'll see that resonated through the tournament model that we actually have for Reign of Titans. So far, we've already given away over 30,000 in cash prizes when it comes to our tournaments. And these are online and in-person events.
Good stuff. And I think Bunny would also be in the chaos camp for sure.
Dude, you would be such an order guy. Dude. Like, me and Nick would be on the chaos side. You would be in order. I feel like Clemente falls somewhere in the middle.
Chaos is cooler. I'm just going to put it out there. It's cooler.
Well, there you go. That makes sense. Then it adds up. Adi, for people that don't know, what is your Web 2 background, and what got you interested in building a Web 3 game, like Reign of Titans?
Yeah, for sure. So my background is actually in finance. So finance and innovation. I've always been really interested in new technologies and how to scale them, how to apply them. So my story is a little bit that I started off by working under Tim Draper. And for those of you that don't know Tim Draper, he's huge into crypto, particularly Bitcoin. So it was around that time that I started investing in crypto, getting into the Web3 space, really seeing the potential. It was so clear for me at that time that Web3 really was the future and cryptocurrency was something to really be explored. But I also saw very quickly that we needed real use cases for the technology. It was almost like people needed to see it in action for it to really gain traction. So that's what I started to work on and think about. And, for me, what better way than doing it through a game, right? It's such a fun, engaging, intuitive way to really show off the technology. And that's where we are. We started to build this blockchain game that's focused around ownership. What is increasingly important to us within Reign of Titans, and for me personally, when we ask about this intersect between Web 2 and Web 3, is that the game has to appeal to both Web 2 and Web 3 users. So you see that resonated through, how we've built the game, how we have the mechanics of people onboarding into the game. You see it through how people participate in the game or even through the game as well. So really trying to bring both audiences together in a fun, engaging way.
Very cool. Small world. Tim Draper's son actually is one of the investors in our business. Tim Draper, a huge name in venture capital and Bitcoin. He bought a bunch of Bitcoin off the U.S. government. So very cool, to hear about your relationship with him. Can we talk about
funny story? Actually, yeah. I was there. So the day after he bought all of that from the government. I remember him coming in and saying he had done that the day before, and it was incredible, to hear that he had put down so much for the future of Bitcoin. Amazing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like the most badass thing ever. You literally bought a bunch of Bitcoin from the U.S. government. Who can say that? You're not even going to be able to say that in the future. He's going to be the only guy that can have that claim to fame. Anyway, so, with regard to tournaments in Reign of Titans, can we talk about the previous tournaments that have happened and what kind of prizes were won, and then maybe a little bit about what you all have planned next?
Yeah, for sure. So the tournament model is such a big part of Reign of Titans. Because for us, it really comes back to this value component. How can we tangibly bring back value to players, and we see that through offering prizes and rewards for participating. So as Reign of Titans, we've had 5 tournaments so far, which is pretty incredible for us, really only just going into launch now. And 3 of those 5 that we have had have featured full NFT integration as well. So to participate in a tournament today, you need to be able to own a Titan or be able to rent a Titan, which you can do very easily through our website. So we've said we've given away over $30,000 in cash prizes. This is over the course of these 5 tournaments that we've had. And we've also given away in-game assets, including loot boxes, weapons, and we've even given away some Titans when it comes to these tournaments as well. You can see a stream now, which is from one of our tournaments that we just had in conjunction with Pepsi in Argentina. So that was a really big one for us. We'll be continuing to do more tournaments. Our next one will be in November. It's already November now. So this month, it's going to be on the 25th and 26th. So at the end of November. And if you want to get involved, join our Discord. You'll find all the information there about the tournaments. Again, you're going to need to own or rent a Titan, but we've made that process really seamless for people to be able to rent and participate.
Yeah,
they've been amazing. They've been so much fun so far. We've learned so much from every tournament. We get surprised every time. We've had different champions for each one. We've had new people participating in every tournament. So it's been really fun to see people grinding to actually get a spot in these tournaments.
Oh, so cool. And, I talk about this on the show all the time. We really, really love gaming partners. We feel that gaming is one of the avenues that is in my opinion, definite future of Web3. I mean, I suppose not every single person agrees with me, but I feel like it is pretty obvious. We absolutely love, having gaming partners. And we love that, a lot of times with gaming partners, one of the calls to action is like, just play this really, great game for free. So you mentioned being able to rent, to be able to play the game. Can you talk about that mechanic and whether that costs money or how people should think about that?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, the rental mechanic was so key when it comes to scaling out the game and making sure that we can allow the most people globally to be able to play. So it's very easy to rent a Titan today. You just need to go to our website, reignoftitans.gg. We have a section in there that you click on that says rent a Titan. And once you go there, you go to a marketplace and you're able to see all the Titans that are available, and you can rent one for free. So it doesn't cost you anything to rent a Titan, and you're renting a Titan from the owners of the NFT directly. And once you rent, the stipulation that we do have is that any prize money that you do earn from renting, 50% of it you get to keep, and 50% of it goes to the original owner. This mechanic, we took some time to build it because we wanted to make sure that we could do it in the right way. And this really spoke to the onboarding flow when it comes to rentals. Big barrier is wallets, right? When we talk about people wanting to enter the game quickly who aren't so versed in Web3, wallets always comes up. So the way that we have the rental mechanic today is that once you do rent a Titan, it appears automatically in game for you in your account. So there's no wallet that's needed. And we pass information on our back end directly to the blockchain.
For both sides, for the person renting it and the person that actually owns it. If the person rents it and wins a prize, they get, a prize. They get 50% of the prize, but the person that they rented it from also, is entitled to a percentage of that prize, which is awesome. One thing that we wanted to talk about is you guys got a Pepsi sponsorship, huh?
We did. It's been a wild year that we've had actually with Pepsi, and so grateful to have them as our first, brand partner. Working with the brands is important to us. Again, just coming back to this idea of value, right? How can we offer the most value to players, and brands coming in is a part of Reign of Titans as a strategy. So Pepsi came on board because for them, they were looking to reach new consumers, right? And they wanted to do that in gaming. We've got the new audience, Gen Z. Everybody talks about it. Brands talk about it all the time, right? How do they reach that audience? So it was a perfect fit for Pepsi and Reign of Titans. So we ran a tournament with them in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, live in person as part of the Argentina game show. Yes, and we had a lot of prizes that were won, like quite a large prize pool for that tournament. And it was amazing. We had a huge stand in conjunction with Pepsi. We had a lot of people coming over, playing the game. On the ground, we saw different ages playing the game, so many different people. Influencers were getting involved with us as well, but a very, very strong brand partnership for us.
I mean, it's a big fish to catch. So congratulations on that. That's really cool. And it speaks to, the prowess that you guys have when it comes to execution. So what should people do if they're interested in playing the game? You've alluded to it a couple of times, but I just want to give everyone a very clear call to action. So they can go to reignoftitans.gg and they can create an account, and any other action that they should take. So reignoftitans.gg, but anything else?
Yeah, I mean, so the first thing is that you should come along tonight. Right, come meet us in person. So we'll be at the event tonight in Amsterdam in person. You can come try out the game for free. But definitely go to that reignoftitans.gg, create the account. If you go onto that website, you'll also be able to rent a Titan and start playing the game. Join our Discord, right? That's where our community is. They're so active. They're always there, ready to help anybody who wants to get onboarded into the game. So that's discord.gg/reignoftitans. And then, of course, follow us as well on X at reignoftitans.gg. A lot of information for people to get involved in the game.
Absolutely. So Clemente has, the links pinned on the Twitter Spaces. We have the account on stage. You can see it right there, Reign of Titans. Free to play game. Well, free to rent the in-game characters. So go to reignoftitans.gg to participate. Some of our commenters, it seems, are already winning prizes. Adi, any other detail that maybe we skipped that you think the audience should know about Reign of Titans?
Yeah, I mean, it's a strategy game, right, at its core. We built the game to make it so that it's a fun, and I keep saying this, but a very intuitive game. We've seen that in terms of the kinds of people that are playing. We see it across all ages. So we've made it really easy enough for people to start picking up the game and playing very easily, but complex enough to really get into your strategy and think about the element you want to be, how you want to build your deck, the kind of play style that you want to have, so that it really can get quite complex when you start getting into the strategy and wanting to participate in these tournaments. I mean, the reception so far for these tournaments has been amazing, but definitely, join our Discord, start playing the game and participate in one of our tournaments, and you can really win some amazing cash prizes.
Good stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, check out reignoftitans.gg. If you are in Amsterdam today for the Breakpoint conference, or just in Amsterdam, period, come to the BoDoggos event. It's at 7 p.m. local time at Zandam, which is 2 stops away from Amsterdam Central. Very cool venue that we got. We'll have a live opportunity to, you can meet Adi and the rest of the team from Reign of Titans, but you can also play the game in person. We're going to have a monitor set up. You'll actually be able to play the game at the event, which is going to be really cool. So if you are around, definitely come to the event. If you are not in Amsterdam, go to reignoftitans.gg, check out the Reign of Titans Discord, follow the Twitter account for all updates for Reign of Titans. Even if you play for free and rent your Titan, you can win 50% of the prizes for winning tournaments. And it sounds like we had one viewer or one audience member on YouTube actually successfully win. So very, very cool to see that. Adi, this was fantastic. Thanks so much for joining the show.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, see you tonight in Amsterdam. If you are here, 7 p.m., like I said, at Zandam. All the information is on the BoDoggos account. Clemente, I'm sure, will retweet it from the Nifty account. That's our show. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time, doing the show tomorrow and the next day. Hope you enjoy it.